We shall remember the Alamo today because it was fruitful for the visiting team. The Denver Nuggets go to San Antonio. They sit most of their regulars. They take on most of the Spurs front men, and they win. Their 12th straight, 128 to 118. Welcome to Nuggets post-game live. Vic Lombardi, Chris Dempsey here in the Altitude Studios. Got a lot to get to. We'll send you back to San Antonio momentarily. But first, we tell you this. Game one between the Nuggets and Minnesota. They just scheduled it. It will be this Saturday, Ball Arena at 1:30. Do you like the afternoon game?
I love an afternoon game. This is amazing. But look, I'm so excited for this series. Obviously, it's a team that they play a lot, but you know, we know the schedule, we know the opponent. They finished this season exactly the way you want to finish a season. And now you're going to get a week off to be able to, you know, heal whoever needs to be healed, to continue to work on some things that they want to work on. You kind of get through this 12-game stretch of all wins, knowing that defensively you're still tinkering to get it a little bit better. Practice time is going to really help that immensely, and then you're going to square off against a team that we have seen very, very often.
Oh, we've seen them a lot.
Yep.
A lot. In fact, here's the recent history with the Timberwolves in the postseason, and we remember what they've done in years past. It was in the championship season for the Denver Nuggets, that 2023 year, where they took on Minnesota in the opening round, and the Nuggets easily disposed of Minnesota. That's a series that ended when, remember, Ant-Man walked off the court at Ball Arena and threw a chair or something. He was mad. Well, they got revenge in the following season when they came here in that forgetful Game 7 when the Nuggets were up by 20 in the second half, lost the lead, blew the game, and Minnesota went on to the Western Conference Finals. That was one of the most hurtful playoff series I can remember as a Nugget.
And just a very strange one, too, right? You know, and Minnesota came to Denver, won the first 2 games in Denver, just right off the bat, and really put the Nuggets on the ropes in that series, just in those first 2 games. Then the Nuggets win 3 games in a row. One of them was Jamal Murray. Remember the half-court shot at the buzzer at halftime of one of them?
Oh, yeah.
So they win 3 games in a row to take a 3-2 series lead in that series. Then Minnesota wins Game 6 back in Minnesota. Then they come in. The Nuggets were up 58-38 with 10 minutes to go in the third quarter and lose that game in Game 7. So, look, you put that in, you add in the fact that they play each other 4 times every single season, and this is we start to talk about who the rival is. And all of these teams are, you know, are rivals in whatever way. But this one here extends into the playoffs, and it's Chapter 3.
This one's personal.
Yeah.
This one's different. It always has been, and it always will be. Let's take a look at the path to victory, brought to you by Path Water, the exclusive water partner of the Denver Nuggets. And here's how the Denver Nuggets did against the T-Wolves this season. They won 3 out of 4, so they won the season series. This is what Minnesota does. They score 117 per game, which is 7th in the NBA. They're 5th best in three-point percentage, so they're a pretty good three-point shooting team. Their defense has been up and down, very up and down. But one thing I've noticed about Minnesota, they get distracted easily at times, and they will fall into that trap where they give up big leads and get back into the game, whatever.
Yeah, they have puzzling performances sometimes. There's no doubt about that. And, you know, it's an interesting team because, look, it's a defense-first basketball team. That's just kind of what it's been. That's when they have played their best. Obviously, Ant-Man is truly a great player. But defensively as a team, Jaden McDaniels, obviously, and Rudy Gobert kind of leading that defensive charge. That's how they get into teams and win games. Obviously, the Nuggets had that solved. And the season series was kind of weird. These games, this series, during the regular season, some players weren't playing on either team in many of those games. So these teams will be whole against each other, maybe for the first time this season. I happen to think that this version of the Minnesota Timberwolves isn't quite as good as that 2020, the one that beat the Nuggets in the playoffs. But they still, you're talking about a very dangerous basketball team. The addition of Ayo Dosunmu at the trade deadline really helped bolster their bench and their athleticism in the backcourt. Bones Highland has had a really good season for them as well. And then we know Naz Reid and Ant-Man and Rudy Gobert, all the usual suspects, yeah.
You want to hear something crazy? So Nuggets, 12 straight, they've won now, hottest team in the league. The Spurs, meanwhile, they finished since February 1st. The San Antonio Spurs have gone 30-4.
Yeah.
3 of those 4 losses have come to the Denver Nuggets.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Yeah.
3 of those 4 losses have come to the Denver Nuggets, and they may meet again in the second round of the playoffs. Let's get you another look at the schedule for this weekend. These are the games on tap, and remember, all games now on national television. We will be there with you for pregame and postgame throughout the postseason. But the Nuggets and T-Wolves, they will play on Prime. That's 1:30 Mountain Time, Ball Arena, this Saturday to celebrate Chris Dempsey's birthday this Saturday.
That's right. Let's get a dub for my birthday.
So he can blow out the candles in style. We will be there every game. And it's not over there. They won their 26th road game today, Chris Dempsey. 26 road games is also a Nuggets franchise record.
They did a lot of good things in this season, Vic. This is just, despite personnel losses that were really consistent throughout the entirety of the season and all the way until game 82. Peyton Watson wouldn't have been available in this game. And so, it's a real credit to the players who were kind of in and out in the lineup, but trying to just claw together victories, just win a game however you need to win the game on that particular night. The Nuggets were able to do that as well as any team in the NBA. And even when there were instances and stints like there were some home losses in a row, they never let that get to them. They just corrected and course corrected, and they were able to do this. 54 wins is just a fabulous season. And, 50 wins, period, is a fabulous season in this league. But to do that in the way that the Nuggets were able to do that, facing the adversity that they faced, is really, really well done.
All right. Credit to David Adelman and his staff.
Yeah, correct.
Really, they managed to navigate some troubled waters, and they got the Nuggets to the finish line, the postseason, as the number 3 seed. Here's Coach Adelman in San Antonio.
David, how would you just sum up the effort that you saw from the guys that were available to play for you tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they just, like I said before the game, we prepared to win the game, played the young guys late. The performances by those guys is really impressive. You get David Roddy with 13 rebounds, 7 offensive rebounds. Curtis 13 points, Pick 11 and 6 playing the point guard position, and Julian Strawther 25 points, just building off what he's been doing throughout the season. So, I was really, really proud of those guys. And we went with the young guys late, and they held on. I would say what really stands out to me is whoever plays for us, we had 30 assists. Whoever plays for us, we had 19 offensive rebounds with this group. But after the rebounds, making the right plays for each other. And if you take a lot of open shots, you're bound to score a lot of points. And that's what we've done the whole season. And for them to have that translate to guys that haven't gotten an opportunity says a lot about our group.
How would you describe the momentum that this team has right now?
It's high, but it just restarts now. We have a week to prepare. I am immensely proud, most road wins in team history. To get to 54 with all the stuff that's gone on, just immensely proud of the group. And like I said, it was a cool way to end the year without your best guys and the sense of guys that play the most minutes and still play the right way. So it was just we feel good about ourselves, but so these other teams do too. And we know what this is going to be. That the Western Conference playoffs are going to be absolutely insane.
You go in on the win streak. You know your opponent. You know your opponent very well in Minnesota. What are kind of the initial thoughts? Well, does it almost require a little less prep with as familiar as you guys are with them?
Yeah, I mean, we've played so many times over the years, playoffs, regular season. We know each other with Tim over there, and Chris Finch and Micah and those guys. So we know it's going to be a battle. I mean, it always is with that team. But I know this. You can't duck opponents, and they didn't want to duck us. We're not ducking anybody. And everybody talks about the best matchup and all these things. You don't know what's going to happen. And if you're asking to play against Kevin Durant, what? So it's the opponent's the opponent, and we have a ton of respect for them, as I know they do for us. It's going to be a hell of a series.
Nikola, it looked like he was having a decent amount of fun there in the first half, especially as you guys are making that run. Like, obviously, it's kind of an awkward, obligatory situation to some extent, but what did you just kind of see from him in terms of embracing the situation?
Yeah, and I think he embraced it because how hard those guys were playing with him. You know, and I think there's a respect value there when he sees guys, you know, playing for opportunities. And a guy like him that's done everything in this game, you know, I think he respects that. And I heard that overrated. I don't know about the overrated thing. I mean, he was on pace for 46 and 16. But anyway, yeah, it seemed like he had a good time out there.
Coach, last couple of games, David Roddy has been impressive. How surprised are you, if at all, about what he can offer to this team?
Yeah, I think David, you know, I always say this about players. If you know who you are, you give yourself a chance. And he knows what he is. He plays with physicality, great energy, hits the glass. He's a really good transition offensive player, and he competes defensively. So if you stay in your lane and you do all those things at a high level, you give yourself a chance to be a professional basketball player. And I just say this all the time. It's not the most talented players in the world in the NBA all the time. It's the guys that have figured out who they are. If you do what you do well and you stay out of the other lanes of other guys and what they do, you can look pretty good on a basketball court, and that's what David's been doing.
Coach, just with the way Roddy has been playing, do you feel like he's earned some playing time for this upcoming playoff stretch?
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, we'll talk about all that, but we get our full complement of players. You know, we'll decide what the rotation is going to be, not to mention I don't know who's going to be back as far as like Peyton Watson, Spencer Jones, guys like that. But I will say this, he's earned the right to have that conversation. And that's all you want as a player, you know, to impress the coaching staff, to you know, bring that up in a conversation. Where could he help us in a playoff game?
And then with just how well you all played and the Spurs sitting so many of their starters, did this win feel bigger because of that?
No, I think you just attacked the game as you attacked the game. I mean, they had De'Aaron Fox in at the end of the game, who is an all-star player. So they obviously, I mean, you know, Vassell 33 minutes, Fox 33 minutes, Castle 30 minutes, Harrison Barnes 30 minutes. Yeah, so it was impressive. But I would say our guys didn't go into this saying we're supposed to lose the game. They went in to compete, you know, and you compete against high-level players like the Spurs have, a 60-win team. It's a great opportunity for those guys.
We've seen you coach 82 games this year.
Chris, I don't know about you, but I love Coach Adelman's attitude about this because we were questioning. We wondered, you know, what did the Nuggets want going into this game? Because it looked like when you don't play your 7 regulars, you sit them out today. You sat out your starters last game. You could define that as, maybe they want the 4 seed. No, they wanted to win, but they wanted health. They got the best of both worlds. I do need to ask you.
Yep.
Does it concern you that Minnesota doesn't fear the Nuggets?
No. You know, I think both of these teams, they're known commodities to each other. So Minnesota, that's a good basketball team. I mean, they've been in the conference finals each of the last 2 years.
And they've done so from lower seeded situations.
Absolutely.
They just